Jamie Dornan breaks down after receiving news from Amelia Warner, last chance lost. The London dawn came earlier than usual that day. The pale light poured through the curtains, illuminating the quiet living room of number 7 on the old Kensington Road. Jamie Dornan sat silently in front of his coffee, his eyes glued to the phone screen, which lit up with a brief text message. "I've signed the papers. It's officially over, Amelia." He read it over and over again, but the words were still blurred. Not because of the tears, but because his mind was blank. "It's officially over," those 3 words echoed in his head like a hammer. In that moment, all the sounds outside seemed to disappear. No more birds, no more cars. Just the ticking of the clock, steady and ruthless. Jamie put the phone down. It felt like he had fallen out of a movie scene without the director shouting, "Cut." Everything was so real, so naked and painful that he didn't know how to act. He knew this was coming. Over the past few months, Amelia had drifted away. No arguments, no anger, just silence and coldness. That silence was more terrifying than any reproach. It was like the end of a song that one no longer wanted to play again. But what hurt him most was not losing Amelia, but realizing he had lost the only chance to save a love that had worn away over the years. The cracks were invisible. They had been so happy, at least in the eyes of the world. Jamie, the handsome star from Northern Ireland, and Amelia, the delicate, gentle female musician. People called them Britain's dream couple, but few people knew that after the movie premieres, after the photos taken on the red carpet, there were long nights when he returned to the quiet house, listening only to the ticking of the clock. Amelia no longer waited for him. She was busy writing, or sometimes just needed a vague reason to stay in the studio. Jamie had thought that as long as he loved, everything would be fine. He tried to make amends with gifts, with trips, with promises he hadn't kept. But Amelia didn't need material things, she needed presence, something he could no longer give. When he shot Belfast, the film that brought him back to the top, Amelia only came to the premiere once, sat in the back row, and left before the lights came on. That night, when Jamie came home, she said only one sentence, "You act so real. But in real life, you've forgotten how to do it." That sentence followed him for the next few months, like a haunting song with no ending. Last chance. 3 weeks before that text, Jamie tried again. He booked a ticket, flew back to London after finishing his final scene in New York. No warning, no flowers, just a handwritten letter, something he rarely did. He wrote in it that he still loved her, that he wanted to start over, that he was willing to give up some projects to stay home, to hear her play the piano every morning. He knocked on the door of Amelia's old apartment where she lived with her 2 children. She opened the door, her eyes swollen from lack of sleep. There was no joy, no surprise, just the calm of someone who had gone too far to turn back. "I knew you would come," she said. "I just wanted to say, I know. But it's too late, Jamie." He fell silent, handing the letter. She didn't take it, just looked down at his shaking hands. "You had every chance, more than anyone. But you chose work, chose the spotlight. And I only chose you." The words pushed him out of himself. Before he left, Amelia placed a small object in his hand, an old, weathered wedding ring. "I kept it because I believed you would come back someday. But maybe holding on would only hurt us both." It was his last chance, and he let it slip away like 1,000 promises he had never kept. After the door closed, after the text, Jamie left London. He fled to the Irish countryside, where he had lived as a child. There, no one asked about the movie, no one mentioned Amelia. He spent his days walking through misty fields, listening to the waves crash against the cliffs. At night, He turned on his old tape recorder, which he used to learn lines, and began to speak. Amelia, I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know, I still remember every song you wrote. I remember the morning you laughed when I accidentally made the coffee too salty. I thought time would heal, but it didn't. It only deepens the wound, because every day I lose a part of my memory of you. He paused, listening to his own voice. One day, a reporter found him at a seaside pub, asking if he was okay after the news of the divorce. Jamie just smiled. I didn't lose a wife, I lost my life. Then he left, leaving a napkin with a few scribbled lines. Sometimes, the last chance doesn't come to be taken, but to remind us that we had a chance. Music without lyrics. A year later, Amelia released a new album, The Last Letter. It included a song called November Rain in Belfast. Critics called it the saddest song of her career. Jamie heard it on a gloomy afternoon, on the train home. The melody brought back everything: the morning they met, the evening they said goodbye, the last look she gave him as she closed the door. Anne smiled, softly whispering in the rain, "Thank you, because at least I got to hear you one last time." The train passed the old bridge, the steam covered the windows. In the white mist bath, Amelia's image gradually increased, not in flesh but in memory. She was smiling, as if forgiving everything, and in the moment of resolution, Jamie Dornan understood. He was no longer looking for the opportunity. He had lost it, but because of that, he knew how to cherish what was left, the memory. The last light. Another year passed. Jamie took a new role, the role of a man who lost everything, trying to make up for his mistakes with art. When the film premiered, people praised his acting as real, full of pain and sincerity. No one knew that he thought he needed to give a speech. In the final scene, his character looks out to sea and says, "I lost her, but at least I had her." The director shouts, "Cut." The whole studio is silent. No one says anything because the tears on Jamie's face have not responded yet. The first hero, looking over the previous butterfly scene, laughs tiredly with anger. The last chance is really lost, but perhaps, sometimes, losing is also a way to keep forever.